I just built a load of really high quality backlinks in less than 24 hours for less than $100. So we can go through my reported referring domains here. Obviously plenty of them aren't that great, not a problem. But at the top we've got a DR39, a DR38, a 26 and a 22, all of which rank for good keywords and have some decent traffic coming in. So just to be clear, if you went to an agency for links like this, or even if you built them yourself using outreach, then each one of these links would easily cost $300 to $400 or even more. That is the standard price for guest post outreach. And lately it's got harder and harder. Because Google has been really demoting a lot of content sites, a lot of the blogs and news sites that used to be a great source of high quality, powerful backlinks have now lost all of their traffic. And a lot of them have become a lot more desperate and have basically become link farms, where they sell links to anyone and everyone as their main business model. Now, I don't have much against that as long as they maintain quality standards. I still think it's better to build imperfect links than not build links at all, but the market has definitely shifted. And now that so many content sites have disappeared, a lot of those that remain and are willing to link to you are getting more expensive and lower in quality, linking out to all these casinos and adult sites. But aside from all that, it's going to cost you a lot. Just the outreach tools alone add up, and given that this needs to be done at volume, need to be reaching out to a large number of sites, filtering them for quality, and then negotiating back and forth with the webmaster, it is very easy for those costs to add up. And that's exactly why most agencies charge between $300 and $500 for these kinds of backlinks. Whereas in this case, I was easily able to get probably $500 to $1,000 worth of backlinks, and each one of these comes from a real business. These are businesses where even if you did outreach them, they probably wouldn't be willing to link to you. So although I'm assigning a monetary value based on the power of the domain rating and the fact they rank for good keywords, the fact is you'll probably find that money can't even buy these things. And like I say, it took me less than 24 hours, less than $100. Now the crazy thing I'm saying about the value here is, you'll know if you've watched my channel or taken over my courses, you'll know I'm a big fan of keeping costs low, especially when you're just starting out with your foundations, and using citations, which are listings in local business directories, and press releases, often for less than $100. And although none of these are particularly big, powerful backlinks that move the needle a lot, they are a good foundation. But with these links, you can see these are big, powerful links, and yet they cost less than either the citations or the press release a lot of the time. These are do follow backlinks from relevant businesses. And now the answer to how do you do it is just a simple WordPress plugin. I know loads of us go crazy on WordPress plugins when we first get started, and you always think this one is going to move the needle, add some sort of new functionality. But what you find is they break, they don't really deliver much. And when it comes to SEO, you might get excited about Yoast or Rank Math, and yes, they're very good, but a lot of the time they're just evaluating your content, maybe making a few technical changes to the site. It's not like they're actively powering up your backlink profile, your content, and your keyword research. But with Vispr, that's not the case. This is so much more than just a WordPress plugin. Okay, so having bought the plugin, there are a range of different pricing plans available. I can't overstate this enough, having made a few errors in this. You need to follow the instructions. I was testing this before, I got everything wrong, and then I looked in my inbox and saw this perfect load of immaculate onboarding instructions, which, had I followed them, there wouldn't have been any issues. So I know, fair enough, most WordPress plugins you're used to just downloading the plugin, smashing it onto your site, and then you'll have a new calendar or something like that. But Vispr is so much more than that. Yes, it's a plugin, but the fact is it connects to their server and will therefore allow you to connect to all the other websites that use Vispr. And from that, it's got a matching algorithm, which means you'll then automatically exchange links with a small handful of the sites on the network. Now, I can hear you gasp at that, saying, isn't that a bit risky? Obviously, no form of link building is 100% safe, no form of SEO is 100% safe. But the fact is, I still say it years later, you are so much better off building links than not building links. I was too cautious for years. I sat on the sideline trying to get my content to rank organically without doing any off-page work at all. And eventually I did get some results. But when I sold that website, I've always had that regret of what kind of results, what kind of exit could I have got if I had actually actively built links to it. Now that having mastered link building, I look back and I realised just how powerful it was. So I sat on the sideline because I wasn't confident, I wasn't willing to take the risk. Whereas as soon as I started link building, suddenly my world changed and I felt like I could rank anything. The world just opened up with opportunity. Suddenly those keywords that you couldn't get to rank anymore, you could compete for them. But nevertheless, Vispr does have some stringent quality controls. So you can't submit a load of rubbish to their network and hope to get a load of free backlinks. They actually have a manual approval process, and it's not too scary, but it just says we enforce this to catch spam submissions. So even if you have a new site, don't worry about it. Maybe you've built a one-page website or something like that. That's completely fine as long as it looks like a legitimate business. or a content website, then that's fine. But what they couldn't do was just open the gates and let everyone submit whatever they like, potentially using automated software. You know the feeling when you set up a form on your website and suddenly your inbox just blows up with all these form submissions offering you all sorts of stuff. So step one, we need to submit your listing. Now it's important that you submit your listing before you actually upload the WordPress plugin to your site, because you need to get approved to the network first, and then once you install the plugin and connect it to Vispa's network, basically those two entities will talk to each other. So this can seem a little bit clunky. It's still an early stage software tool, but trust me, it's worth it. Easily $500 worth of links, maybe 1,000. So again, they repeat it here, submit your listing and then download the WordPress plugin. So to do that, click on the gear icon over here, because currently we've got only basic details in our profile. Vispa does have a range of different plans, so if you get the agency plan, you can actually submit multiple listings for your clients. But if you only got the one site plan like this, then it's very straightforward. You just click the gear icon and then go to edit profile. Ignore the box where it says tell us a bit about yourself. It's the essential fields with the asterisk that we really care about here. Now in this case, I'm going to be revisiting my old Cleaners Enfield case study. I haven't touched it in a while just because it wasn't very high ticket. This was when I was getting really paranoid about AI, thinking I'm going to go out and build a bricks and mortar business, and then realized actually for the time being, I can have far more impact than by keeping on doing what I'm doing. So the site still ranks well. Again, really simple process, optimized content on the homepage. It's an exact match domain, and we've done a citation and press releases, and that's pretty much it. And so through that, even though we've neglected it for a long time, it's still on page 2. It wouldn't take a whole lot of work to push that back up to page 1. I think it was around June last year I was doing this, maybe slightly earlier. Now there's some reports that exact match domains fared very badly in the 19th of December update, but we can see from the calendar view here, no real detriment from the December update. Lost a few keywords on the 28th, but not a whole lot, whereas we've had a lot of green in January. So completely untouched for months, still working very nicely. So let's get some backlink power in there. And I mean real backlink power, not just the citations and the press releases, which are a great foundation, but not packing a whole load of punch. So we go to our submission, we're going to put in our business name, codes you can ignore, one sentence pitch, I'm just going to copy that off our page. Now just like when you're doing citations, basically listings in local business directories, the one sentence pitch and the business description are going to be featured alongside your listing. So it's worth using relevant search terms in there because your link is going to be placed amongst that text. Now thankfully my content is already pretty optimized, so I should be able to just take my introduction and paste that in there. So we can see we're getting all our relevant keywords in there. Enfield, cleaning services, professional cleaners. And then of course we need the URL. So that goes in there. And then we need a website screenshot. So again, nice and easy. Don't do this on your phone or anything like that. Just take a simple screenshot like that, and I can upload that here. That's now uploading, and there we go. Now, business type. This is important. This helps inform the matching algorithm. Because the problem people have with link swaps is you don't want to link out to your competitors. So if you're reaching out to your competitors saying, will you give me a link and I'll give you a link, then no one's really winning. So the great thing about what Vispr does is it uses adjacent niches. So maybe you're in the construction field, but maybe you're just a roofer, in which case you don't mind getting links from a plumber or an architect. These are all very relevant fields that will give you good quality backlinks, but it's not like you're giving any power to a competitor. So in this case, this is a service provider, main category, probably corporate and industry. No, personal lifestyle, I'm going to say home and garden. Now you can add some keywords in here. These are the keywords you actually want to rank for. I don't worry too much about that. They get placed alongside your listing, but I wouldn't worry too much about it because actually this bit, the one sentence pitch and the business description, that form much more of the link. And then support email, this is going to be publicly displayed. So just like when you're doing citations or a press release, you want that publicly available email address that you know is going to get scraped and abused in various ways. Website language, because Vispr supports all languages, do the country. And that's actually it for the essential fields. You can add your social medias in here. You might think, is there any benefit to that? Well, the fact is your social media pages are good, what we call tier 1 properties. A lot of people build what's called a social fortress when they build a site, where they'll get every single social media site they can just to get the backlinks. Now, they're not very high quality backlinks, but it's fair enough that Google's going to see if you've got 200 links from social media sites, and those are legitimate links because of course you have social media sites, that appears far more legitimate than a site that doesn't have any actual branding social media presence. So although those links might not be powerful, they're good for trust and authority. But also, if you build links to those social media sites, then they gain in power. So actually, if you put in your social media links here, then those links will inherit some of the power of all the places these links get placed. So I'm not too worried for now, but equally I'd say don't ignore it. And then we just do update profile. And now what that does is that goes through to Vispr, and within 24 hours or so, you should get your approval notification. And that's when you can download the plugin, install it on WordPress, and you should be able to connect to your site. Okay, now we can actually install the plugin. So I'm going to go to my dashboard, then plugins, add new plugin. Now when you signed up with Vispr, you hopefully got this email. Like I say, really good onboarding process. You can click on download now, then accept the terms and conditions, just hit download and you'll get the latest version that way. And now we ignore the WordPress plugin directory and we go to upload plugin, choose file, and then we select our plugin. So notice it's called SEO Partner Network, and that's because with the agency plans, they do actually have a white label feature. So you can basically resell it as your own, as a perk to clients. So if you're trying to onboard more SEO clients, then very simple pitch. You can say we've got our own in-house software. It'll get you $500 to $1,000 worth of backlinks as soon as you sign up with us. And of course that works great for retention, because if they decide to leave after a few months, then there's a bit of friction there. They know they're going to lose not only the other benefits you're providing for them, but they're also going to lose those backlinks. So we click install now, and this shouldn't take too long. And then once that's all unpacked, just do activate plugin. So now we go into the Vispr onboarding within your WordPress dashboard. So it says to connect to the network, you must be registered with an approved listing. So then we click next, and we need our username and password. Now, generally this step is quite pass or fail. If it goes through, then everything's going to work great. In a limited number of circumstances, it can go wrong. So it could well be that your hosting has got some security settings, which mean you can't connect to the server. So if that happens, just go to vispr.net/known issues. Obviously there's everything else that can be going wrong here as well. So if you're working with Cloudflare, that could be a problem. But if your host is blocking it, then simply contact your support. And then this is the API call they need to whitelist if they're not able to simply whitelist the domain itself of vispr.net. Now, I'm pretty sure this site is on Cloudflare, so let's see how this goes. Now, as usual, any issues with passwords, just click forgot password, and then that will be sent to my email address. So I now received a link via email, so I can now change my password, and that's gone through fine. So now, username. That's the email address we signed up with, and then the password we've just set, and let's see if this will connect. Okay, that's gone through fine. So even though the site is on Cloudflare, no problem at all. So from my testing, it seems like the majority of the time, you're absolutely fine. There is a bit of an issue with certain hosting providers. I know I recommend if you're just getting started, just use basic Namecheap shared hosting. But unfortunately, this plugin does have an issue with Namecheap shared hosting, because if you're on a server with all these thousands of other websites, then a lot of those IP addresses end up getting blocked because a lot of those sites are up to no good. And so for that reason, the server that Vispr is actually on has got really strict security requirements. And so they can't whitelist your IP address without whitelisting hundreds of other websites at the same time. So that's also in the known issues file. So it says about 1% of all user accounts can't connect to the plugin, but the solution is relatively easy. You need to make sure that these clients' accounts are using a dedicated IP. So dedicated IP is a unique IP address for their own server or website. Every web hosting provider offers so-called VPNs, virtual private networks, that come with a private dedicated IP address, commonly used for sending emails through your own server. So there we go, you should be able to get VPN hosting, and that'll have a load of benefits as well. But for now, we've been able to connect no problem at all. So we're going to say language is English. You can filter by domain authority and spam score, but we'll leave that for now. There is a warning there that if you're too restricted with that, saying basically that if you set it too high, then because this is a back and forth link exchange, it doesn't really work. If you've got a DR of 5 or a domain authority of 5, and you're only wanting to link out to domain authorities of 60 and above, then that doesn't really work out. So just leave these open. There are options to go through and tick off which links you do and you don't want, but for now just leave it open and then filter down later on. So we click next, generating partner page, and that's all finished. So this is where the magic really happens. So we've now got this disclaimer here, and this is basically just saying, yes, we're building links, we're doing SEO, there are some risks. So buyer beware. Obviously it's not Vispr's fault if this goes wrong. So we just need to complete this form here. So fill in your details there, accept disclaimer, accept terms of use, accept privacy policy, and we click on accept. Now it's very subtle, but what we should see here is a link to our partners page. Now this is the smart thing that Vispr does. It basically produces a partner page for everyone on the network to link to each other, but using the filters of categories. And that's how you end up with closely related sites, but not linking out to your competitors. Now, when you've first done this and has first been generated, the chances are there's both caching on the Vispr side, there's caching on your website, so there's a good chance your partner directory just here won't actually be displaying anything. So in the meantime, you should be able to go to SEO Partner Network and then Setup and Reporting. And you can see there's a warning here saying your page is offline. This is basically how Vispr maintains integrity in the network. So you can't just say, yeah, I'm going to put up a partners page, get a load of backlinks, then take down your partners page. It constantly monitors the whole system. So if you deactivate the plugin, then you lose all your links. It maintains fairness and equality that way. So the page is currently offline. So like I say, generally it's best to wait 24 hours at this point, but if it is taking a bit long, you can click on this remove cache and recheck your system status. That now says your data has been successfully updated in our system, all issues have been fixed, and you can now go live in the network. Please note that it takes up to 24 hours to rematch all partners in the network, and until the results will show up in your partners list. So let's see if anything has changed. Okay, nothing yet, so for now we'll just leave it for a while. Okay, I've now left it a bit. So again, let's remove cache and recheck system status. Remember, it said it can take up to 24 hours. This is because of the matching that goes on the back end. So again, we've got notifications saying that's all been refreshed. So let's now view the partner directory. And there we go. We've got all our partners come up. So what we have here is a full list of websites that obviously we're linking out to, but in return, their directories on their websites have now dynamically updated to link back to us. Now you might be thinking, is this not black hat? Is this not dodgy? Well, arguably there hasn't really been a transaction as such here, and this is literally just a directory. The internet would be a very different place if Google decided you weren't allowed to have a directory anymore. And now crucially, Vispa's got a big network of other websites that can link between themselves. So it's not like every single website in the network is being linked to and linking out to every other website on the network. Instead, you're just in your little niche. So really, the 50 or so backlinks you've got going back and forth in your little network, in the grand scheme of the internet, is really quite small. But just to help things along, you'll notice I've got the URL here that says all partners. This is actually different for each person that uses the plugin. There's a whole long list of different permalinks Vispr actually uses. So it's not like every single website that uses Vispr is following the same pattern. Yes, they've all got a directory, but it could be all partners, our partners, partner directory. So there's a huge mix there, which helps diversify and disguise that footprint. So if you're coming in from a high level, it doesn't really look like some dodgy backlinking scheme. So small amount of risk there, but you're getting a lot of power for it. And it's probably lower risk than doing any other form of link building. So if we come back into our reporting here, we can see the page is live, all the boxes are ticked here, and we can see our incoming partner links, which includes their domain authority and their spam score, and we can also see our outgoing partner links. Now obviously these are very similar. Then you also have a blacklist, so if there are any sites you really don't like, you don't want the link from them, or you don't want to link to them, then you can just remove them. So I can just go to the top here, and switch off that site. So we no longer have a partnership, we no longer have a deal. My site doesn't appear on their directory and their site doesn't appear on my directory. But for now, I don't have a problem with them, so I'm going to leave them there. Now there is one more thing to do, and that is to copy our partner directory link. I'm now going to edit my footer, because technically this partner page is on an orphan page with no internal links pointing at it. So we want to add it down here so it's easy for Google to see, crawl and index those outbound links. And this is an expectation of everyone that uses Vispr. Make sure you add a link to your partner directory either from your homepage or from your footer. So to do that, we just go to Appearance Menus and we can just go to Pages, tick off Partner Directory, add to menu, and Partner Directory is there. This is in the footer menu, so we'll save that menu. Now if we go back to the website, we can now see our Partner Directory there. So there's just one more thing I want to do, and that's to get all our links. I'm just going to use Instant Data Scrape, and now I'm going to create an Ahrefs batch analysis of all those links. I've hidden the links, obviously, to protect their privacy, but before I even look at the domain authority, domain rating, look at the quality of some of these websites. $11,000 a month in traffic value, all from the United Kingdom. $2,800 of traffic value from the UK. $2,000 a month in traffic from Thailand, $1,100 a month in traffic value from Canada, and then still some pretty good values there. So if we look at the traffic levels, 13,000 traffic, 7,000 traffic, 3,000 traffic, 2,500, 1,000. So a lot of link building agencies do try and have a minimum standard of traffic when they build backlinks. A few years ago, most set it at about 100. I tried to take it up a level and say I'm not going to build a link that's got less than 1,000 monthly traffic. And since then, other agencies have risen up and that's become the new industry norm. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 websites that would conform to that high quality agency backlink standard. So now let's sort by domain rating, so how powerful that backlink actually is. So we've actually got a 69 in there, a 47, 35, 34. and a 27. Then we have a 26, a 25, a 24, and a 20. So already we've got some really powerful links there. And let's not forget, if we go to our reporting dashboard, we can see we've got 58 backlinks from this plugin. And those are backlinks with power, with traffic. So let's assume somehow we were able to get a DR20 link for just $100. We've got 1, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, $900 of backlink value from a simple WordPress plugin. And let's not forget, there's no way you're going to get a DR69 for $100. And then if we scroll down below that, you get loads of new sites that don't have a whole lot of power, but there's nothing wrong with that. This one clearly has a lot of traffic. That might be from Nigeria, but seems to be a perfectly good site. If a small site, if it's still got rankings in the top 3 of Google, then Google clearly likes that website. But it's got plenty of keywords on page 1, 55 keywords in the top 3. So overall, really impressive. And all these will be linking to their partner directory from their menus, from their homepage, which means these are not orphan pages, whereas so many backlinks you build go on some inner article from way back, or maybe a fresh guest post that's got no authority, and it gets buried in an archive on this massive content website. It doesn't have a single internal link pointing at it, so it's very likely Google will never even discover this backlink. Whereas here, the Google crawler comes to the home page, sees the partner page, goes and visits that page, and then crawls all these backlinks. So you get the full benefit of all that power. So Vispr.net, highly recommended. Yes, it can be a bit clunky. You will have to wait for the matching to go through. You might have to talk to your host around whitelisting the API. And maybe after a day or two, you will have to keep on clicking that refresh button. But the end result is there. Nearly $1,000 worth of backlinks. Even if you've just got a brand new website and you're still just doing your foundation links, your press release, your citations, these 5 to 10 really powerful backlinks, and then 50 to 100 less powerful backlinks, easily offer far more value than those basic directory listings. Of course, you want to do everything, but in this case, you can get high quality outreach level backlinks from real businesses with traffic, with power, and it's just a click of a button. Literally less than $100 to get nearly $1,000 worth of backlinks without ever having to send an outreach email. So take action today. I'll leave a link below. I would not be surprised if these prices went up very quickly. This is a new tool, it's a bit rough around the edges, but I don't think it'll be long before they realize the true value of what they're offering. So lock in your deal now while you still can.